Welcome to the lecture series on computer organization and architecture. Today, in this lecture, we are going to discuss a very important concept which is called pipelining in computer organization and architecture. We are going to discuss what is pipelining, the concept of pipelining with some scenarios, and we are going to understand how pipelining plays a very important role in the performance of the computer system. Now, pipelining is very important when we are having a single CPU, that means one processing unit, and we are processing multiple instructions in a program. So, in this lecture, we are going to understand how a single processing unit can process multiple instructions in sequential as well as in parallel form, and how the concept of pipelining is used for executing these multiple instructions in parallel form such that the single processing unit can have higher performance compared to sequential execution of these multiple instructions in the program. Now, before starting with the lecture, let us first understand what is the learning outcome from this session. Now, at the end of this lecture session, the students are expected to understand the concept and the need of instruction pipelining in computer architecture. Next, they will be able to explain the different stages and the operation of the pipeline processor in case of single CPU or a single processor element. The students will be able to analyze the pipeline execution. That means once the instruction pipeline has been formed, how this pipeline will be executed by the single processing unit and how the different stages of the pipeline execution will happen with respect to the timing diagrams. That means with respect to the clock signal which synchronizes all the operations of the computer system. So we will be studying the different stages of this pipeline execution with respect to the clock cycle of the CPU. Now, before starting with the concept of pipelining, let us first understand this concept of sequential execution and parallel execution work. Then we will go on to explain what is the concept of pipelining. So for understanding sequential work, we are going to understand this with some practical scenario or real life example. Now here in this slide, we are going to discuss about a factory assembly line setup. Now this factory assembly line setup is basically of a toy car assembly here. Now here you can see in the picture below, there are three persons. The first person is assigned with the duty of painting the toy car only. Second person in this assembly line of factory work is assigned only the task of adding wheels to the toy car. The third person in this assembly line is assigned for applying stickers on the outside of the toy car. Now, after the action of the first person who is painting the outside of the toy car, this will be handed over to the second person who will be adding wheels to the toy car. Then, after this will be handed over to the final person in this assembly line who is going to add the stickers on the outside of the body of the toy car. Now, the combination of these three steps, that means painting, adding wheels and applying stickers, will result in the final product. That means the final product is nothing but the finished car which is readily available or can be sold in the market. So that is the final product of this action in the assembly line. Now here what is meant by sequential execution of work. Now here we can see that when the first person is painting the body of the first toy car. The second person in this assembly line as well as the third person in this assembly line are doing nothing but waiting. Okay, so they are not able to start their job or action until and unless the first person is finishing the painting of the toy car. Once he finishes the painting of the toy car, it is handed over to the second person in this assembly line who will be adding the wheels to the first toy car. During this phase, that means if I consider this as step 1, during this time period, person 2 and person 3 are waiting because the first person is doing its own task. Once this person 1 has completed this task, he will hand over the finished product, that means the painted toy car, to the second person for adding wheels. So when the second person or when this second step is being done, that means when this step is being done, the first person who has already finished painting this toy car 1 is also waiting along with the third person in this assembly line. So when the second person has finished adding wheels, he will hand over this first toy car to the third person for applying stickers on the body of the toy car. So this step is nothing but the third step in the assembly chain or line of making toy car in the factory. Now when this third person is applying stickers to the body of the first toy car, the first person in this assembly line and the second person who have already finished their task are simply waiting for the third person to finish this task. So what is the major observation in this first 3 steps? We are able to see that when one person is doing the task, the other 2 person in this assembly line are doing nothing but they are just simply waiting for their action to start. This sequence of execution is called sequential work. Why? Because when first person is doing the task, the second person is waiting, second and the third person, both of them are waiting. As soon as the first person finishes the task, it is handed over to the second person and they are waiting simply for the second person to finish. So what is happening here in sequential execution? We are handing over the task to the next step only when the first step is completed. Then from the second step, once it is completed, it will be moving ahead to the third step. And when the final step is completed, we will have something which is called the final product or the final outcome of this assembly line or chain of assembly here. So for getting the final product, that means the first toy car, okay, that means the one car, for generating one finished toy car, we are using 3 steps here. In these 3 steps, when one resource or when one person is being engaged for doing one task, the other 2 persons are simply waiting. So in this sequential execution of work, we can see that we are actually causing the resources to wait for some substantial amount of time. Okay. So now if I want to understand what would be the time taken for generating 2 toy cars of this sequential execution work, we can see that once the third person has generated the finished product in step number 3, in step number 4, again another toy car is given to the first person for painting. So the painting task is only executed after 3 steps. That means the final step of the previous toy car has finished. Toy car number 1 has completed. Only then we can start with the assembly of toy car number 2. So when the painting job of toy car number 2 has started, The person number 2 and person number 3 who are going to assemble the wheels and the stickers of this toy car are doing nothing but simply waiting in this assembly line. As soon as the first person finishes the task of painting of toy car number 2, he will send this toy car to the second person for adding wheels. So during this time, that means during the time of step number 5, who are waiting here? Person number 1 because he has already completed painting the toy car, and person number 3 because he is waiting for getting the toy car with the assembled wheels so that they can apply the stickers on the body of the toy car. So as soon as the second person now finishes assembling the wheel, adding the wheels to the second toy car, he will give this toy car to the third person in the assembly line. So during this step, that is step number 6, who are waiting in this assembly line? The first person who has already completed the painting task and the second person who has already completed the adding wheels to the toy car are waiting, so that the third person can finish its task of adding stickers to the second toy car. And in this step number 4, 5 and 6, we will have one more toy car being generated as the output. Okay. So from this slide, we can understand here that in this sequential work, for generating one toy car, we are taking how many clock cycles or how many time period or time slots? We are taking 3 steps or 3 time slots or 3 cycles. So for generating the second toy car, we need another 3 steps in this sequential execution to generate the second toy car. Clear? So what is the main observation here for sequential execution in this assembly line for generating toy car in a factory? We see that the people or the resources are waiting unnecessarily for the other person to finish the task and generate the output. Okay. So this is pretty much an inefficient way of doing the work when you have multiple steps or multiple processes in execution for generating the final outcome. So for this example, we can understand that for generating one finished product, that is the first toy car, we need 3 clock cycles or 3 periods, 3 time slots. Okay. So, and we have also observed that for generating 2 toy cars, the final time taken is 6 clock cycles or 6 time slots. And along with this, we have also observed that when this 2 finished toy cars are being generated, we see that for this 6 steps or 6 time slots, some of the resources during this time slots are actually wasted in performing or doing nothing but waiting. So during this waiting time, they could easily start with the next step, but in this sequential execution, what is the fundamental theory here? That one person, as soon as he finishes its own task, will hand over to the second person and it will just simply wait for the second person in line to finish. Then when the second person has finished, it would be handed over to the third person and they will simply wait for the third person to finish. Once the third person has finished and generated the final outcome, we see that the first and the second person are simply waiting for the next allotment of the next car in the assembly line. Okay. So in this sequential execution, we will complete first one step at a time and it would be handed over to the next person in line, and the rest of the resources are simply wasting in waiting and not doing any substantial work during this waiting time. Okay. So if I want to calculate the throughput of the assembly line or the system involved in generating toy car. So what is throughput basically? Throughput is nothing but a performance parameter for understanding the efficiency of the system of execution of the work here. Now what is throughput? Throughput is the number of output generated or final product generated in the total amount of time. So here the total amount of time is nothing but 6 clock cycles or 6 time slots. In this time slots, total 6 clock cycles, we are able to generate 2 toy cars. Okay. So toy car number 1 takes 3 clock cycles or 3 time slots, and toy car number 2 takes another 3 time slots here. So total product, finished product, total number of product is 2 divided by the total time taken for executing or for generating this finished product. That is 6 clock cycles. So throughput is nothing but the fraction of the 2. So here this is nothing but 0.33. That is the performance of the system in assembling or generating the final output of 2 toy cars in the time slot or clock cycles of 6 clock cycles. Okay. Now, if I want to compare this, or if I want to increase the performance of such kind of a system, we would introduce something which is called parallel execution or parallel work. Now, what is the concept of parallel work compared to sequential work? In parallel work, the only difference that we have here is we are going to reduce the waiting time slots here for each person in the assembly line. How are we going to reduce this waiting time slot? We see here that when the first person is painting toy car number 1, the second person and the third person in this assembly line will be waiting for their turn. That means they will be waiting for getting this toy car, and then they will add or do their own step, that is adding wheels and adding stickers. So as soon as the first person has completed first painting job, he will be sending this over to the second person for adding the wheels for toy car number 1. During this time, because he is adding the wheels, the next person in this lineup will be doing nothing but simply waiting for its turn. That means it will wait for the finished product from step number 2 or person number 2, and only after that it will start its execution. That means applying stickers on the first car. During this time, we can see here, so this is my time slot number 1 or clock cycle 1. So in clock cycle 1, what are the 2 people or what are the 2 resources that are waiting? In this case, person number 2 and person number 3, that means the next people or next resources in this assembly line are waiting as the first person is performing the task. In my second clock cycle or second time period, slot period, we can see that once the first person has completed toy car number 1 and handed over successfully to the second person, during this time when second person is adding wheels to toy car number 1, this first person or the previous person has already started painting this toy car number 2. So what are we doing? We are doing here overlap process. Overlapping means this person is no longer wasting its time in waiting for the second and the third person to finish toy car number 1. So finishing toy car number 1 will take 3 clock cycles as per the lineup. That means 3 time slots 1, 2 and 3. So after completing 1, 2 and 3 steps, we will get 1 toy car as the finished product. But instead of waiting for these 3 steps, the first person has already started painting the second toy car in the second step or second clock cycle. So we are reducing the waiting time of the first person in the second step itself, and we are starting parallel processing of the action or of the products. How we are doing this parallel processing? So till this, once it has completed the first task of car number 1, it will move on to the second task of painting the car number 2. So during this time, second person is still involved in doing car number 1, and the third person is still waiting for getting this toy car number 1 for adding the stickers. So as soon as the second person finishes its own task, it will send this over to the third person. the third person will start its action in the third clock cycle or third time slot. During this time, what will the other two-person do? You can see here, during this time, the other person has already completed. So the first person has already completed painting toy car number 2 and would successfully hand it over to the second person for adding wheels to the toy car number 2. So we have not yet finished toy car number 1 assembly. That means I have not completed toy car number 1 completely, and I have already started the execution or the assembly of toy car number 2. So we are not waiting for one finished product to completely finish before starting the next finished product. So we are actually overlapping here. So what are we doing? We are simply overlapping the steps of execution here, so that the other people, once they have completed their task, they can move on to the second task. That means as soon as they have completed toy car number 1, they will move on to toy car number 2 in the second step. Once toy car number 2 has already completed, they will move on to toy car number 3 in the third step, and then toy car number 4 in the fourth step. So like this, they will simply go on. Once they have completed one step, they will move on to the next step like this in parallel form or in overlapping form. So as soon as they complete step number 3, that means toy car number 3, that would be handed over to the second person. When the second person is doing wheels or adding wheels to toy car number 3, the third person is adding stickers to toy car number 1. So we can see here that the finished product. So one toy car is now taking how many clock cycles here? We are actually taking 3 clock cycles here, or 3 time slots here, 1, 2 and 3. So the question is, with this parallel work or parallel execution on this assembly line compared to the sequential execution, are we reducing any time in generating or in the assembly line of one car? So the question here shows that, are we reducing the time taken to finish one car? So what would be the answer here? In my previous example, if I go simply one step back, we can see here that for generating one toy car, we were taking 3 cycles here, which is indicated here also. Now, if I compare this with my next slide, we can see that in parallel execution also, we are taking how many clock cycles? We are taking 3 clock cycles only. Step number 1, 2 and 3. So 3 clock cycles for generating one finished product or one toy car. So with this parallel processing, we are actually not reducing. So the answer for the question is no. We are not reducing the time taken to generate one finished product or one finished toy car. So what are we changing here? We are actually changing the time taken to generate 2 or more toy cars. So for first or only one finished product, the time taken in sequential and parallel execution is the same. So if I am doing one car comparison, so for one car in sequential execution, I will take 3 clock cycles or 3 time slots, and in parallel execution, I will still take 3 clock cycles or 3 time slots only. So when the question is, if I have only one task in my program or only one execution there, single instruction or single execution, then both sequential and parallel execution of that task will require the same amount of time. So they will require the same amount of time for completing the task. But if you are having 2 or more, so if I have 2 or more finished product, in this case it is just the car, then in case of sequential execution, we have understood that 1 takes 3, so 2 will take how much time? It will take 6 time periods or 6 cycles. But in case of parallel execution, we can simply see here that the final product, so your toy car number 2 has already started in second step by the first person. The second person will start it in the third cycle, and finally the final product will be generated after person 3 has finished adding stickers. So how many time slots or clock cycles are we counting here? So this is the first step, this is the second step, this is the third step, and the final one, this is the fourth step. So we can see that at the end of this 4 time slots, we are able to generate 2 car or 2 finished product here. So total time taken by parallel processing is 4 clock cycles instead of 6 clock cycles in my sequential execution. So in sequential execution, we will take 6 clock cycles, but in parallel, we would take 4 clock cycles. So what are we doing here? So by using this overlap method, so we are doing overlapping of task. What are we doing? With overlapping, we are able to reduce the amount of time taken to complete multiple finished product in the assembly line. So when we are doing 2 or more execution, we are actually reducing the amount of time compared to the serial or sequential execution. So sequential execution is taking more time, that means 6 clock cycles, but parallel execution will take less time, that means 4 clock cycles in this example. So we need to remember a very important factor here, that when we are doing only a single task or single execution, then both sequential and parallel will take same amount of time. So pipelining or parallel execution or overlapping of execution steps are not going to change for one finished product or single execution of instructions. The same time is taken by both sequential as well as parallel in this scenario. But you have to remember this very important point, that is, when we are having 2 or more instructions or 2 or more tasks in the execution, only then parallel execution, which is done using overlapping method. So we have only one system, but multiple processors, multiple hardwares of the same processors are involved. That means multiple persons. Multiple persons are doing different unique operation here. One is doing painting, the other is doing adding wheels, the third person is doing adding stickers. So each person is doing a unique task. None of them are doing the same task here. Only then it is possible to do this overlapping of task execution. So when is overlapping possible? Overlapping is possible when each of your resource in this assembly line are doing unique execution steps or unique task. So if they are doing unique execution or unique task, only then we can actually do this by overlapping. We can actually do parallel processing. So a very key fact here that you need to remember, that for parallel processing, very important point to note is, in any system, the hardware that is doing the execution of tasks should be unique, and each hardware should be doing unique task or unique execution only. There should not be any overlapping of the task which is assigned to the hardware resource of the computer system. Only then we can actually do overlapping in the execution step. That means we can do parallel processing. With this parallel processing, we are actually able to reduce the amount of time or execution time for generating multiple finished products or multiple instructions outcome execution. Okay. So now if I want to calculate the throughput, the performance of the system when we are doing parallel execution compared to sequential execution. So again, throughput is nothing but the total output that is being generated, which is 2 toy car, divided by total time which is taken for generating this output. That means 4 time period of 4 clock cycles. Why? Because final output is being generated after the 4 steps. Okay. So here we can see that the throughput is 0.5, which is greater than 0.33, the value that we got for sequential execution for generating the 2 finished product. In sequential execution, we were taking 6 clock cycles. So the ratio was 2/6. In this case, the ratio is 2/4. So we can see that by doing parallel execution, by allowing overlapping of the execution of steps, we are actually reducing the time taken for, so we are reducing the time taken here for generating the finished product. So we are reducing the execution time. So if execution time is reducing, then what is happening? The throughput. So if you see here, the formula for throughput is nothing but the number of tasks or number of products completed divided by the execution time. Okay. So it is divided by execution time, number of completed tasks. So task completed divided by execution time. So if execution time is reducing, then what is happening? The throughput would be increasing in this case because it is inversely proportional to the execution time. So using this parallel processing or parallel execution, we are actually, for a single CPU or for a one processor system having multiple tasks or multiple instructions, we are able to increase the throughput of the system or increase the performance of the system by reducing the execution time. So if I say that how the execution or how the system performance is changing with this parallel execution, the system performance is changing by simply reducing the execution time by doing overlapping of the execution of steps. And reducing the execution time means throughput is increasing. Throughput is increasing means the amount of work done per unit time is increasing. That means the system performance is also increasing. Okay. So here we are not wasting the resources in waiting. Here you can see that waiting is there, still there. We are not able to avoid this waiting periods. But what is significantly reduced, that the amount of time the previous resources were waiting here. So this and as well as the second person here, this amount of time has been reduced. Here we have started with the next execution as soon as the first one is completed. Same for person 1. As soon as 1 is completed, move on to second. As soon as second is completed, move on to third. As soon as third is completed, move on to fourth. So they are no longer waiting to complete one completely by the 3 people and then only start with the second and the third and the fourth step. So if you compare this with the previous step here, we can see here that the first person is actually waiting for this 2 clock cycles here, and the second person is waiting for this clock cycle here instead of taking on the second task here. That means second car assembly. Same for person number 1. So in sequential execution, every resource is waiting. Once it has completed its task, it is waiting for significant amount of time, for after which the first finished product is generated. Only then it can start with the next execution. So car number 2 is coming after 1, 2, 3 in the next third step, not in the immediate second step here. So this is the main difference between sequential and parallel execution. See here, in parallel execution, we can see that second car has already started assembly here. As soon as second is completed, third has already started, third completed, fourth has started. So this is the main difference between sequential and parallel execution. The concept of pipelining is mainly the concept of parallel execution. So parallel execution means we can do this overlapping mechanism for executing independent steps by independent resources of a single processing unit, so that we can increase the performance of the system by reducing the execution time. If I reduce the execution time, I am able to increase the throughput of the system. Throughput increases means performance of the system is increasing.